समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं हरि ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरुवे नमः. We are studying sadhana sopan, the ladder or steps of spiritual practice, and in that we saw manashodhanam, purification of mind, also jnanasar, essence of knowledge, and now fifth verse of Dhyaan Swaroopam, the nature of meditation, we are studying. In that we saw that the meditator realizes the meditated self as its own I and then abides in that. Then further sixth verse Guruji says, Swarupe drudhanishthayai yatante sadhaka janaha dhyanabhyasena tasyeva siddhanto varnyate dhuna. However, seekers practice meditation to gain firm abidance in the self. Now the principle of practice of meditation is explained. As we saw in the very first verse, Guruji, Param Guruji said that Swarupasya sahajam bhanam dhyanam iti uchyate. The constant awareness, effortless awareness of our own nature is meditation. So that is the goal. For that we have to practice meditation, and that is superficially looks like an action. So Guruji will explain now that Swarupe drudhanishthayai yatante sadhaka janaha. The seekers, they try and put forth effort to get established in that nature of the self, meaning having constant remembrance of that, removing all the notions which are wrong notions of how I can be that Brahman. It is said that this nididhyasana or practice of meditation removes that erroneous notions that I am this individual, I am body, etc. Even though person studies this, it listens this talks, etc., and thereby his ignorance goes. What is the real truth, what is the real nature, that he comes to know. Even after discussion and contemplation, reflection, etc., doubts in that, those also goes. Whatever questions he entertains about this, that also goes. But still one erroneous notion, viparita bhavana or asambhavana, it is called asambhavana, that remains, that how I can be that absolute reality, how I can be infinite. So this remains. It is said it is pramanagata asambhavana, prameyagata asambhavana, and pramatrugata asambhavana. So Shravan, Manan and Nididhyasana. Ignorance is dispelled, doubts are clear, and now this erroneous notion is getting clear by this meditation. In this meditation, practice of meditation, so many subtle, fine, but very strong inclinations and tendencies that are called vasanas, and which are there in our causal body, karana sharira. Whenever we do actions, it's that stamp as it where it lives, and so that gets firm and clear. When again and again we do the same action, repeated actions becomes habit, and when that becomes strong, then this vasana is formed, because of which we have to take further birth and new death body also. So many of those vasanas get exhausted, get burned in this meditation, and when we get absorbed in that self, when this meditation culminates in absorption, then not even a trace of that vasana remains, and no desire from pushed from that vasana, earlier vasanas, that earlier chains that shackle us, that doesn't remain. So therefore this meditation is very important to get established in this self knowledge. So dhyanabhyasena taseva siddhanto varnete adhuna. How this practice of meditation is done, that will now be described. Guruji writes in passive voice that it will be described by me. So no doership is there. This is all prompted and inspired by God. This is all revealed knowledge. Swarupe Dhrunishthaye. And for that, as they exhort seekers, that I will now describe. Further in the 7th verse, Guruji says, Kriyaशीlas sada jivah sthatum shaknoti natmani akarmatas tatah prokta vidhir dhyanasya yogevihi. Kriyashila Sadajiva. Generally, man, being action oriented, is unable to abide in the self without any action. Therefore, yogis prescribe the practice of meditation. Kriyashila Sadajiva. We are habitual of always doing something. Even sleeping, that is also an action. Sitting, lying down, just standing, that is all our actions. Kriyashila Sadajiva. Sthatum shaknoti no atmani. And therefore without action we cannot stay. And this self is without any action. Naishkarmya siddhi. It is most nishkriya. It is just an existence. It doesn't have any limbs or body or even space to act and move, do any movement. That space is just a imagination of that, as we also experience after getting up from this sleep. First we get realized about our own existence for a fraction of a second, and then immediately follows this idea of space, where we are. I am in Pune or Mumbai. Then time concept comes, which is this year, which is this month, which is this date and day, and then further all activities, what I have to do today. So in this way, this is a concept of intellect, concept of space. So since in self it is there, but self is not in space, therefore it cannot act. And man has become habitual of doing always something or other. Therefore, how he can get established in that self? Akarmatas tadafrokta vidhir dhyanasya yogivi. Therefore, to understand, to make us understand and to hammer this nail in us and to facilitate us for this meditation, the saints and sages tell this process of meditation in the form of action, though it is of the nature of inaction. How? Now Guruji explains further. Kriya rupa pratiyeta tathapi na kriya vidhi संयमेन युपाधीनां लुप्ता संति च तत्क्रिया. Kriya rupa pratiyeta. Even though it appears as doing something, But it is not so. Because of the restraint of the equipment, body, mind, etc., their activities come to a standstill. We know the language of only action. If you want money, do work. So same way we think that if you want to get realized, do meditation. So do meditation means what? Doing meditation. So that is explained here. Kriya Rupa Pratiyeta Tathapi Na Kriya Vidhi. Even though it is told in the form of these assertive sentences, that yes, sit steady, sit still and straight and erect. So actually this sitting is not going and coming, not running and doing something. Therefore, to abstain from that other activities, it is told that sit. It is not lying and rolling in the bed. So it is called sit. So even though sitting is kriya, sitting is an action, but it just pushes aside all other actions that are done by our feet, etc. Then it is said, close the eyes. Now, when this instruction is given, we feel that it is of the form of action. Closing the eyes is an action. But that action takes us away from looking here and there and just seeing and become eagering and we become curious to know what is that, what color, what shape, what size. So stopping all the actions of our eyes, seeing, etc. It is said, close the eyes, shut the eyes. So in this way, even if it is of the form of action, actually it is telling us not to see. Then keep your body still. So no movement of hands and movement. So that is stopped. When it is said keep your body, even though keep is a verb, so keeping body is a sort of action, but it is told to stop all other actions. Then don't speak anything, don't smell anything, don't think anything. Now inner actions are also stopped. Now thinking is stopped by telling not to think. So not to think is also an action, but it just makes us stop all other thinking, etc. So in this kriya rupa pratiyeta tathapi na kriya vidhi. संयमेन ह्युपाधीनां लुप्ता संति च तत्क्रियाः. And when we just regulate our limbs and sense organs, organs of action, etc., then all the actions come to a halt. Earlier we saw that doing japa, and then when in mind we are doing japa loudly, cry a halt. And when that peace is there, stun the mind, kunthita buddhi, so that will calm down the intellect also. Sanyamena hi upadhinam. This upadhi means this all conditionings, our equipments. In this way, meditation is doing nothing, and for that doing nothing, we have to do these things: sit straight, then do this mental massage, give mental massage to your limbs, then examine and just look at your breathing, then just be a witness to your thoughts. And in this way, slowly we are taken to that standstill state where the mind is in equilibrium, very alert, not sleepy, not in ignorance, but at the same time not at all agitated. Mind doesn't take a form of any object. It remains in its own nature, and that is Chaitanya. Further, Guruji says, आसने नगतिर लुप्ता यदेन्द्रिय क्रियास्तथा तदात्मा च स्वयं भाति सत्ता रूपश्चिदात्मकः. For example, when seated in a posture, walking is stopped And thus, when the activities of the other organs also cease, then the self shines by itself as pure existence consciousness. आसनेन गतिर्लुप्ता यदा इंद्रियक्रियास्तथा तदा आत्मा च स्वयं भाति सत्तारूपश्चिदात्मकः. In this way, when we bring all our actions to a standstill, our breathing also gets smooth and deep, and without any effort it goes on, without any turbulations in it. Asanena gatirlupta yada indriya kriyastata tadatma swayam bhati sattarupa siddhatmaka. Self-effulgent self, the super splendorous I, अहमिनाशभाजहमहं तया स्फुरति हृत्स्वयं परमपूर्णसत्. See, when whatever action we do, behind that some purpose is there, some thought is there, and for each and every thought, the I thought is a base. I thought is a must. That is a common factor in any thought about any object. That I thought must be there. So all the thoughts in the world of all the objects depend on this I thought. And when this I thought is brought to stand still, and with the knowledge of Upanishads, etc., the ephemeral, the nature, this mrusha, this unrealistic nature of this I thought is known. It just collapses. It just loses its existence, and then that pure I is there, that big I is there, that shines forth. Bhati means it shines forth. Tadatma cha swayam bhati satta rupaschidatmaka, and it is of the nature of just an existence. Satta means not power like politics. It is just being. It is isness. But it is not inert. It is full of knowledge, means it is made up of knowledge only. And is this isness and knowledge different? Are they two attributes of something else? No, they are one and the same. Existence, consciousness, bliss, all the three are one and the same. It is not that one reality is there and it has got these three qualifications or qualities. As someone will bring a flower and it is a red, fragrant, soft rose. So rose is an object and it has got these three adjectives. It is a red rose, it is soft in touch, and it is fragrant when we smell it with nose. So now these three qualities just qualify that rose. But after a few days, suppose after 1 week, if you see that rose will be still there in crumbled form, all its color also will be changed, and its fragrance also it is very mild only. So in this way, the thing will be there but qualities will not be there. Is this Satchidananda self like this? So someday it will be Atma is there, self is there, but it is not of the nature of existence. Then it will become non-existence. Then what is the point to strive for it, to seek it by doing all these spiritual practices? So no, it is of the nature, it is made up of, essentially it is existence. Also if it is not knowledge principle, asat chit, then who will know that this existence is there? So knowing faculty should be there. So that is, existence is itself of the nature of knowledge. It is not asat chit or achit sat. and also Ananda is there. About this Ananda actually we were thinking when we stopped the last Swarupam Satchidanandam. In that Ananda we were thinking. Vijanan Swatmano Buddha Tishtati Evam Sada Yogi Swarupena Nanyatha. So now, here, even though only Satta, existence and Chit, these two are counted in this verse 9th, but Ananda is included in that. Because without that, this dearness in this world, peace in this world, love in this world will not be seen. This Ananda is, happiness is such that happiness is seen in the form of love, in the form of peace, and in the form of priyata, means dearness. So about this Ananda, it is said that it is our nature, and wherever we are, we have got our nature with us. So we should always experience this Ananda, and that too unconditional, infinite Ananda. But generally, how we find Ananda, what proportion? They say like in full meal, only like a side dish will be this Ananda, and the main dish, rice etc., that will be of other things only. Sorrow, worry and disappointment and all other things. So how we are to understand that our own self is happiness? So for this they say that Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti and Aptokti are the means of knowledge. So either Vedas says, Vedanta says, our scriptures says, then all saints and sages, they have also experienced over the vast period of time, or the vast canvas of period of time, of all the places, not only from one place, they say. The same experience is taken and narrated by all the saints. Then our own experience should also be there, and that thing should be proved by logic and inference, by systematic thinking in the way of cause and effect, cause and effect. So these four ways are there to prove anything. So now about this, our nature being happiness itself. So this analysis is given. Again, the last verse also that comes. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad of Yajurveda, there is a dialogue between sage Yajnavalkya, a great seer, and his wife Maitreyi. So there, when this Yajnavalkya says that he is a big education master, means he had got great big training institutes and this Vedantic schools etc. And thousands of students are studying under him, and every 10 students will be supported by a teacher. So in this way proportion he has got faculties also, teachers also. And these all things he has decided to renunciate and give these all things to his wives, Katyayani and Maitreyi. So this Katyayani, she just accepts this. But Maitreyi says, if you are renouncing this all, you must be getting something higher than this all. Whatever post and power and wealth that you are in, so you must be getting something higher than that. Therefore you are abandoning this. So I want to know that higher. If I accept this all wealth etc., will I get that immortality? So he says, Vittena na asha asti, amrutatvasya na vittena asha asti. Because of this wealth, you can never get immortality. Then she says, what then I will do with accepting taking this? Yena aham amrutana syat kimaham tena karvama. So I don't want all this, because after taking this also, I will not going to become immortal. So give me that knowledge by which I will find that myself is immortal. No fear of death is there. So then he says that our own self is of the nature of happiness. We need not depend on any other thing because for that happiness. If we always search the thing where it is not, then how we'll find that? Because we are searching it at the place where it is not. If we search the thing in place, in that spot where it is, then there are chances that we will find that. If we are known and introduced to that thing. The same thing happens in our search of happiness. We are all in search of real love and plenty of happiness, and that too just now in present only, not that just assurance that you will get happiness in the future, and not after doing lot of work etc. So that we don't remain there to enjoy that happiness, we get so much exhausted. Many people is work hard for 5 days and 2 days they just enjoy. Work hard throughout the year, 11 months and 1 month they just enjoy. But afterwards they have to come here again, and they are exhausted in their strength also, energy also, because of this indulgence, and also money, pocket is also empty. So they have to come again and work. So not that sort of happiness. Without doing anything, just I am, and happiness is there. And that we search in the things which they are not of the nature of happiness. They themselves are ephemeral, they themselves are perishable, and how they will be able to give us the lasting happiness. Okay, so this Yajnavalkya says to his wife, Nava are sarvasya kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati, atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. And he gives a long list for this. He says that nobody is dear to us for its own sake. They are dear to us, or it is dear to us for our own sake, because it is giving us the happiness. Therefore, anything or anyone is dear to us. This is the truth. When we think, then we come to conclude this. You see, then he gives many examples that why wife loves husband, why husband is dear to wife. So not because of husband's sake, but husband gives her happiness, therefore she loves husband and husband is dear to her. Same way, why husband loves wife, not because of her, but because she gives him happiness, therefore she is dear to him. Why son is dear to us, not because of son, but because son gives us happiness, therefore is dear to us. Why our body is dear to us, not because of the sake of the body, because body gives us happiness, therefore it is dear to us. And this is very clear when we get some disease. Suppose gangrene is there, that wound is not getting healed, and doctor says that if you cut your hand, then there are chances of your existence. So definitely we become, and nowadays breast cancer and eye cancer. So people are ready to remove that prostate and so many things. So these things are removed. They say no rega bas na bajegi basri. This one, fibroids are there in uterus. Remove that. So we are ready to remove one by one parts of our, this tooth is aching, remove that. So one by one parts of the body we are ready to remove. Why? Because they have started giving us pain, they have stopped giving us happiness. In this way, the conclusion is what? Anything is dear to us only when that gives us happiness. Even though wife and husband, or even friends, or brothers and sisters, or boss and subordinate, etc., they remain at one place, even though they do not give as a duty, or no other option is there that is inevitable, therefore they just remain. But that is because of formality only. No real love is there, no real joy is there of one another's company. So in this way, this is the conclusion first, that we have to remember that nobody is dear to us unless it gives us happiness, we love only that person or thing or place, whatever it is, which gives us happiness. Now the question is, what is the thing that is most dear to us? What is the thing that we do love most, more than any other thing? And even though superficially we will say that yes, Gurudev says, my bike, I love my bike, my chappal, my sari, my room, my car, my wife, my son, my profession, my art. Many answers will be there. Or nature, knowledge, service, whatever answers will give. My country. But all it boils down to one self, that myself is most dear to me and I love myself more than any other thing. When it comes to the existence, whether I will survive or other, then definitely we will save ourselves. And that is very natural. So, when we see that earlier conclusion that we love that thing which gives us happiness, and this thing, that self is the most dear to us, and we love the self, ourselves, the most, more than any other thing. Then what it shows, these two things when we mingle together, it shows that self is the thing that gives us happiness, and self is of the nature of happiness. Therefore, without any other condition, we love self. It is not that only beautiful and handsome person loves his self. It is not that only a victorious and successful person loves his self. It is not that fully healthy and wealthy person will love his self. It is in spite of that, whatever is, even though you are failure, you are a deceased person, you are ugly, you are uneducated, ignorant, still that person also loves his self much, more than any other thing. So in this way, the pure self, without any of these outer coverings and conditions, is the thing that is nature of this, the entity that is of the nature of happiness. Now, further it is proved by our own experience also and logic also. So it is called the law of remainder, Parishesh Nyaya. It is our own experience, everybody's experience, that whenever sense organs and their objects, conducive objects, they come together. So when we contact the objects with our sense organs, there is generation of happiness that we experience. I like to listen good music. When my sense organ, ear, comes in contact with good music, then happiness is generated that I experience. So same way, good food for taste, good touch for our skin, good smell, fragrance for our nose, and in this way, and good form to see for our eyes. So there are two things, two sides, two parties. That one is experiencer, I, and one is thing experienced, that object. So if when they are joined, happiness is created, that is experienced. There must be happiness either in sense organs or sense objects, or in I, the experiencer. Let us examine that, and for that purpose take first these sense objects, because we are under this notion that sense objects contain joy, and therefore enjoy more and more sense objects, acquire more and more of that, so that always we will have that infinite joy. That is the misconception of that. So we will first examine whether these sense objects themselves, as their inherent nature, is of the happiness. So it is said that one sense object, suppose mango, one person likes mango. So when that mango is given to him, and he eats that. Then he gets, for suppose, 100 units of happiness. If the object mango itself has this happiness, then when second mango is given to him, then he should have got 200 units of happiness. But it is seen that he gets only 180 units. Then if third mango is given, if happiness is inherent quality of that mango, then it should have given him 300 units of happiness, but actually it gives only 250. And then when fourth mango is given, it is expected that 400 units of happiness he must be had, but he gets only 300 units. And when fifth and sixth are given, and seventh and eighth are given, then he can't take that. He gets 0 units from that additional mangoes. So if joy, happiness is the inherent nature of that quality of that object, then it should have give that much multiplied happiness to us. That doesn't happen. So there is no joy in the sense objects. Also, it is tested in another way. Same object, when given to that person at different times. Suppose a child is there, and that child is very much fond of playing those glass kanche or goti. It is called goli or goti. Or suppose a girl is there and she is fond of playing with dolls. Not when she gets that doll, she just jumps and laughs and smiles and dances and sings. And she gets so much happiness when she gets that doll. Now, if that happiness that she has experienced by getting that doll, if that is in doll, that same doll should give her happiness even after 20 years also. Now she is 25 years old and that doll is given to her. So will she jump and dance and sing and hug that doll? Will she get that happiness? So over a period of time, same person is given same object, but still same unit of happiness is not experienced. So definitely there is no happiness in that object. Also this is tested in still another way. That same object at the same time is given to two different persons. Then if that happiness is in that object, then it must give happiness, same unit of happiness to both the persons. Suppose a person is a chain smoker, and when he gets those cigarettes and cigars, then he is very happy. But the other person is totally abstain from that and he never smokes. So when this person smokes and he is very happy, Brahmanandam, Paramaสุkhadam. So the other person actually coughs and he gets suffocated and he not at all likes this. So if the happiness is in that cigarette, etc., then that should have given the same unit of happiness to other also, but that doesn't happen. So in these various ways when we think, then we come to conclude that happiness is not the nature of object, it is not in that sense objects. Now the law of remainder, Parisheshanaya, Nyaya is applied. In the beginning we saw that experiencer and the object experienced generate happiness that we experience. So we have proved now that happiness is not in the object. So happiness must be there in the remaining party, remaining factor. That is the law of remainder. So what is remaining factor? Of these two, objects are out. So this experiencer, I, is there. In that this happiness must be there, which we experience while we join. Then how we experience that? So in scriptures, this example is given. The simile is given that when a dog feels hungry, it searches and it finds a dry bone that is cut and the sharp edges are there. So he takes that bone into his mouth and he just chuckles that, chews that. And when the sharp edges of those bone are just, they scratch his inner skin of the mouth, and thereby blood starts oozing, and this dog's tongue gets the taste of that blood, and foolishly it thinks that it is that blood is coming from that bone, and therefore he chews that more and more, and this all the mouth starts bleeding. So in the same way, when we are always desirous of other things, and therefore a lot of uneasiness and restlessness and agitation is there in our mind, and if that thing we get, that desire is fulfilled, that time all the agitations and waves as if of our mind, those thought modifications, they stop, they come to stand still, and in that clear surface of the mind, our own self, that is of the nature of happiness, gets reflected, and that reflected happiness, we think that it has come from that sense organ, sense object. One day one child was just chewing his own thumb. So in this way, he was feeling secure and very nice, at ease. So he is chewing his own thumb, and from that he is deriving that happiness. So this is our experience. That also proves that we ourselves is of the nature of happiness. Happiness is not there, that is only projected happiness, superimposed happiness, that is only appearance or reflected happiness in others. And therefore many saints and sages, they don't have any belongings, no bank balance, no properties, no families, etc. But still they are in that bliss and ecstasy only. One more experience, that is your daily experience, that also proves that yourself is of the nature of happiness. When you go to deep sleep, that time we experience happiness, and after coming into waking state, we say that yes, I got very nice deep sleep, and now I am recharged and refreshed, and now I am feeling energetic and enthusiastic because my all fatigue gone, I got good rest, I was happy in that deep sleep. Now from where that happiness of the deep sleep comes? Deep sleep is a such state where this outer world is not available to us. This body, this name, fame, this education, this monthly income, nothing is available in deep sleep. You even don't know whether you are animal or man or woman, and what age and where you are staying and what you are educated, etc. In deep sleep, nothing of this world, waking world, is available. Only pure I is there. But that is under the influence of ignorance. But that is very near as if to this self, because all agitations of mind have stopped, throbbing of this intellect, functioning of this intellect have stopped. They have gone to seed state, and they are not functioning that time. Therefore, this reflection of this self, that happiness is felt directly by us, and therefore we say that yes, I got good sleep, I was so happy. Sukhena ham aswapsyam. I knew nothing in that deep sleep. So in this way, this our daily experience also confirms that only we, our pure self is there and happiness is there. In this way we can reflect on that. Guruji says in the last verse, विज्ञातं येन वै रूपं निजं शान्तं सुखात्मकं सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि जगत्यस्मिन्न बध्यते. He who realizes his own peaceful and blissful self never gets bound, even though living in this world in all possible ways. Sarvatha Vartamanopi Sayogi Maivartete, that's what Gita says. Sarvatha Vartamanopi. Vijnatam yena vai rupam, nijam, shantam, sukhatmakam. One's own self, one's own nature, when one knows of the nature of peace, serenity, and bliss, then whatever he does for his livelihood or as a bounden duty towards family, towards society, towards nation, towards humanity, or towards any other field like art, etc. Sarvatha Vartamanopi. Whatever he does in his life, Jagati Asmin na Padyate. In this life, in this world, he never gets bound by anything, he never gets attached to anything, and therefore no fear, no sorrow comes to him. He ever remains rooted in his own happiness. Vijnatam yena vai rupam nijam shantam sukhatmakam sarvatha vartamanopi jagati asmin na badhyate. Very nice, small but deep. These 10 stanzas, 10 verses composition of Param Poojya Guruji Swami Tejomayananda of Chinmaya Mission. Whatever we reflected a little bit, we offer this to his feet. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.